Good morning. Hi guys, I am Jenny Melrose of jennymelrose.com, as well as the lifestyle site, The Melrose Family. Over on The Melrose Family, I create quick and easy recipes for busy parents, as well as projects. And over on Jenny Melrose, I help influencers and entrepreneurs monetize and grow their sites. So today I just wanted to get on quick. We're going to do a quick live workshop so that if you have any questions while we're going throughout the workshop, I want you to feel like you can definitely ask them as you're coming in, because I know that it takes a little bit sometimes for this to show up in your news feed. I want you to feel like you can absolutely ask questions. I feel that this training that I'm going to be doing today is on the art of a pitch, and I feel that the training is perfect for anyone that is an influencer as far as a blogger, as well as someone that might be a mom that runs an MLM. So if you use Rodan and Fields, or you use Young Living essential oils, this training is going to be absolutely perfect for that. So we're going to get started in like just 2 seconds. I'm going to share this out so that people know what is going on, so that they can jump in on the workshop. And then we're going to dive right into this. So let's see. So for those that don't know, I am most well known for my Working with Brands e-course, where I actually teach bloggers how to work with brands. And part of what I actually do in that is I have a challenge where it's a pitch perfect challenge. It walks you through how to pitch brands. So it's kind of where the art of the pitch comes from, but we're going to get a little bit more into it because it also applies to pretty much everything in your everyday life. So I really wanted to dive in and get a little bit more into it. Okay, so as you're coming in, if you're watching, I'd love to know who is here. So if you want to leave me a comment with your name, maybe where you're from, if I personally know you, or if I know you from the blogging world, that works as well. And also, if you have any questions throughout the entire training, just feel free to leave it in the comments. It's not going to be a long training, nothing like an hour or anything crazy like that. I'm just going to be going through quickly. Good morning, Wendy. Hi, how are you? So glad you're able to join in. So we're going to kind of jump right into this. So we're going to be talking about the art of a pitch. And the pitch doesn't just necessarily, like I've said, apply to bloggers or influencers that want to work with brands. Obviously, that is what I know very well because that is how I've made the majority of my income. But it also comes to bloggers that possibly want to guest post, or it also comes to moms that are at home and run an MLM, and they are looking to get the word out about this amazing product that they stand behind. Over on the Melrose Family, one of the MLMs that I stand behind are Young Living essential oils. So I'm also familiar with that piece of it. And you have to be able to pitch in a certain way so that it doesn't come off salesy and sleazy. And it really has to do with pretty much being able to build a relationship. So there's going to be a couple different points that I'm going to hit on. The first one that we're going to talk about is playing into your relationship. So whether you know the person or you don't know the person. So let's say if we're going to talk MLMs, we're going to talk about you're probably reaching out to friends and family in the beginning to start with, because you're going to be talking about a product that you love. So when you're reaching out to those types of people that you know, you want to be able to play into your relationship and the things that you know about that person. So let's say, for example, if I was going to be pitching Young Living essential oils and I was reaching out to my sister-in-law about it, she also has kids, so I might talk to her about the fact that we're going to eliminate chemicals from her home, and we're going to be able to use essential oils, a cleaner way to be able to do it. Now, another way to think about it is, let's say you are an influencer and you're reaching out to someone that you don't know, either to guest post, to work with a brand, whatever it might be. You need to play into the relationship that you're trying to create and show them how your relationship is actually going to benefit them. It's the same thing if you were the MLM. You want to show them how that relationship, that product for them is going to benefit their needs in their life. So if you're talking to a brand or you're talking about someone to guest post, you want to show how what it is that you do is going to affect their return on investment. So whether it is going to show them that you get on Facebook Live and you are have a strong following there and you're very comfortable and you can create recipes, you want to show them how your influence is going to affect that relationship and do well for them. You also might speak to the fact that, let's say you have kids and you're reaching out to a brand that is very specific to having products for picky eaters, whether it's vegetables, whether it's whatever it might be. So you want to make sure that you play into the fact that you have picky eaters and you understand the importance of being able to give them a nutritional meal and provide a nutritional, quick, easy meal for them. So you're always thinking about that relationship, not just from your standpoint, but also from theirs. What can you provide them? So that is the first piece. The next piece is that you have to give, and then you have to give, and then you have to give some more. Okay? It can't just be a take-take relationship. You have to be able to create a relationship where you're giving quality content to them. Whether you're going to, as an MLM, be able to provide them with a let's say if you're working I know I have a lot of people that are part of my Facebook group that works with Rodan & Fields or has another MLM. You can provide them with a product so that they can try it out and see the value in that product. Now, obviously, you're not going to continually do this because that's not going to end up being worthwhile for you. But you want to be able to show them that you believe you put the word behind the product and you want them to be able to try it out so that they obviously continue. It's the same thing with a blogger or influencer trying to reach out to a brand. You're going to give to try to get their attention and to show them what it is that you're able to do for them. So let's say, for example, you want to get an email address for a brand. Well, what you're going to do is you're going to put out, let's say, a tweet on Twitter, and you're going to tag that brand, and you're going to say how awesome they are. And the biggest thing, we're going to talk a little bit more about this, is you have to make sure that you continue to stay authentic. So don't reach out to people that you don't know their product or you're not familiar with it. You're reaching out to someone that has a product that you use so that you can stand behind it, so that when you put this tweet out about how awesome they are, it's authentic and it comes across that way. So when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you are giving them your influence by putting out that tweet. And most likely what will happen is if the tweet does well enough, and we talk about that in the Pitch Perfect challenge that I have on my site of how you can actually get more traction on that one tweet. There's a whole process that I go through in the Pitch Perfect challenge, and I'll put the link actually in the comments to the challenge so that if you have any questions about how to go about finding that, it'll be in the comments of this video. Okay, so you're always making sure that you're giving, whether it is your influence across social media or whether it is as an MLM, someone a product to be able to try out so that they can stand behind it. Quick example. So my sister-in-law is heavily into Rodan & Fields, has been for a little over a year and a half, I think now. And for me, I was always, no, I don't want to get hooked into these products. I'm not a beauty person. Like, it's not a big deal to me. And she, when we moved down here, just nicely, just wasn't being pushy, gave me something to try out. It was one of the skin things, and I used it, and then I used the lip thing, and then I called her the next day and said, yep, okay, sign me up. That's all it took. Because that's what it is. When you give something and they get to see the value behind the product that you obviously already believe in, it gives them more reason to want to get involved. And as you might be able to see, I use the Lash Boost, which is why the lashes are absolutely insane for me, which I've never had in the past. So make sure that you are giving. Think of ways that you can actually get involved with them and create that relationship and get them used to the product. Okay, so next point, we are halfway there. You want to know your end game. So as we were talking about giving a product, being able for them to try it, you don't want to continually to do this. So in the past, with Young Living Essential Oils, I've seen people that have given an oil, or they'll call and they'll say, hey, I'm placing my orders or anything that you want. And they may have those people, they'll have them purchase the product once or twice or whatever it might be, but you don't want to just be someone that's giving an oil every single time you're placing your own order. So you want to know that your end game is to possibly get them to be purchasing every single month on their own account so that it is not only benefiting you, but benefiting them as well. They get their essential rewards, they get points, whatever it might be. It's the same thing with Rodan & Fields, a line like that. You don't want to always be giving them free product because that's that's not your purpose of your business, is not to give away free product. It's to end up showing people the value in the product so that they then become customers. And it is the same exact way with when you are talking to a blogger is talking to a brand to work with them in that sort of relationship. You want to make sure that you know what your end game is. What is the purpose? Like, let's say another great example is if an influencer is going to reach out to guest post on a bigger site. What is your purpose for pitching that person? Or pitching them to work for them as a contributor, to be offering up your services and your fabulous photography, right? I have contributors. The purpose for them is to, and not only did they pitch me, I pitched them. I pitched them to bring them on board because I saw their quality content and I know what they can provide me. So for me, I pitched them the idea of, you're going to get the backlinks, which will help with your SEO, because I have been in a site that has been established for over 6 years. So you're able to get those SEO backlinks, but you're also going to get exposure that you normally wouldn't have, whether it's on Facebook, Pinterest, wherever it might be, so that your following can also grow over there. So you always want to know what your end game is. What is your purpose for doing it? And you don't want to be keeping score. So I am in the process right now of reading Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. I might have killed his name. I'm only on chapter 3, and it's awesome. I love it. So if you are looking for a new book to read, that's going to be a fabulous book. But he talks about how it's important to build these relationships and not keep score as far as, well, I gave them a free product or I purchased that from them. Maybe they should now purchase something for me. You want to just do things for people, and it's kind of like karma. It's going to come back to you. So do it with an open heart. Do it creating these relationships, and I'm telling you, you'll see it tenfold. I definitely have myself. Okay, last point, and I honestly feel it's the most important point. You absolutely have to make sure that you are authentic. So no matter the type of relation, the ask that you are giving in a pitch, you always have to be authentic. So if I am reaching out to someone to guest post and I reach out to them and I don't know anything about their site except that it's a large site, I don't know the content that they produce, I don't know what they put up in the past, that's just not authentic. It's me looking to benefit from something that probably I shouldn't be benefiting from because I know nothing about them. Same thing with reaching out to a brand. You don't want to reach out to a brand that you're not familiar with, because what's going to end up happening is you're going to go to have a conversation with them and you're not going to know anything about them. So make sure anytime that you are reaching out to someone, whether you are pitching someone to purchase a product, whether you are pitching someone to work with them as far as guest posting, or even to work with the brand, you have to stay authentic to yourself. And if you are a blogger or an influencer, you have to also stay authentic to your audience. I think a lot of times what ends up happening is we grow our page views, and we do that via Pinterest, and what ends up happening is we know nothing about our audience, and that is a problem, and it is a huge mistake that I have made in the past, and I want you all to learn from it. You have to know your audience, because then when you go to sell a product and create a product, you're not going to know how to sell it to them because you don't know them. So even though you may be driving traffic via Pinterest, please, 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 please make sure that you have a lead magnet. You have something that is in line with possibly a product that you're going to purchase, so you can see whether or not they're going to, or a product that you're going to produce, so that you can see if they're going to be interested in that product. You cannot go out there blindly creating content, blindly attracting people from Pinterest, and then expect to be able to create a product and be able to sell it and do well with it. You have to know your audience. So in order to know your audience, you're going to have to do a lead magnet. You may do a survey with them. You absolutely have to try your best to really get to know them. And I know in this day and age with Pinterest and social media and everything else that's going on, it can be difficult to do, but it is possible. It definitely is. I have seen myself having a list for 5 years. Actually, more like it was probably about 4 years. I knew nothing about them because they were primarily coming from Pinterest. And once I took the time to do a survey and to get to know them and to put certain things into effect, I found that it was so much easier. So now, we've kind of briefly touched on the fact of creating a product and having it in line and making sure that everything flows. So if you're curious about a sales funnel and about how it's going to actually work as far as when you start with a lead magnet and then what is the next step, what is it going to look like as far as being in line with your product, I will be over on HollyHomer.com, her Facebook page actually. So I'm going to be on the Holly Homer Facebook page at 10:30 today talking about a sales funnel that actually converts. So if you have questions about that, make sure that you are following over there and you'll be able to find it. Also, if you have any questions at all about anything that we've talked about as far as the art of the pitch, please feel free, even if you are watching the replay of the video, to leave it in the comments and tag me, because I am always coming back checking to see if there's any questions that I can answer for people. And I will put the Pitch Perfect Challenge down in the bottom, so that if you haven't gone through that, you absolutely can. And now something that I always tell people is that even if you're in a different line of business, because as entrepreneurs, some of us have very different products, but just because you may not be a blogger looking to primarily work with a brand, you can still find nuggets of information from the content that I produce or from the content that others produce. So always keep that in mind. When you're listening to podcasts, things of that nature, always remember to keep an open mind and really try to take out the pieces that you can apply to your business. So for those that don't know, since I have a couple people still on here and I'm just waiting for questions, so if you do pop questions in, I can answer them. But I have a podcast now that is called The Influencer Entrepreneurs with Jenny Melrose. And the podcast actually goes live every Monday. And we also have the video that goes from the interview up on YouTube. We've had tons of fabulous interviews so far. There are podcasts already out there about sequencing, putting things together to launch, about sales funnels, about your email. So be sure to go to iTunes and check out the podcast. All right, guys, thank you so much for dropping in. If you have any questions because you're watching the replay or you're catching the tail end of this, please feel free to leave them and I will be sure to answer them. Talk to you soon.